The hosts over at CNN are absolutely fuming after Donald Trump signs 200 plus executive orders day one. You guys got to see how crazy these people get.
It was a fascinating window on, clearly he's very happy to be back in the Oval Office, yes. Very happy to be back on TV. You can imagine him saying a lot of those things every day in Mar-a-Lago over the last 4 years to assembled guests time and time again.
I think also he said, "Gee, did Biden do this?" I think he wanted to set a contrast with Biden, by going sort of having this rolling press conference.
We rarely have seen something like that of a president just riffing from the.
Yeah, and and there's a reason for it, because the words of a president can actually send armies marching and markets tumbling and have real consequences. I actually think it's refreshing for presidents to be. I was among those who was critical of the lack of exposure of President Biden, and I think it's good for presidents to be exposed. It's better if they tell the truth when they're doing it. And as Daniel just said, a lot of that wasn't there. But we ought to focus on the sort of headline issue here. There are a lot of consequential things he did, but that ceremony today was in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol. Everybody here remembers what happened there 4 years ago when that mob came through. Everybody remembers the gallows. Everybody remembers the chants. Everybody remembers the assault on 160 police officers. Is that the number? And basically, he said those people were hostages. I saw him today at his rally in front of a group of families of Israeli hostages who were taken by Hamas in Gaza, and he talked about freeing the January 6th hostages. These are not hostages. These are people who either confessed or were convicted of crimes related to marauding the Capitol to try and stop the lawful process of certifying an American election. And the only defense that I can think of for this action today is that those people went there because they were told an abject lie by the President of the United States that the election had been stolen and that something improper was happening. And so, in some ways, maybe I'm not suggesting this was his motivation, but you could justify it by saying, well, he lied to them and tricked them into going there under false pretenses because they thought it was their patriotic duty. So maybe they should get some consideration for that. Many of them have said that they went there because he told them to do that.
They went there because there were countless instances of irregularities in the 2020 election, and a lot of people, including myself, agree that it's not a free and fair election. So if they want to go to the Capitol and peacefully protest, they have every right to do so. Our founding fathers fought for that right. You want to talk about these people are not political prisoners? They did not see one proper day in court. They were just locked up and thrown away for no other reason than they thought differently than Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the Democratic regime. Because if you want to talk about a double standard, talk about what happened a couple months prior to that when BLM was lighting up our streets. But CNN was calling them peaceful protesters. Meanwhile, the people at the Capitol were walking between the velvet ropes being escorted by the police. Yet those are the people who are a danger to our democracy. These people are such freaking hypocrites.
If people are told that you can engage in rioting, insurrections, attack police officers, and so on, and the President of the United States will call you hostages, and free you, it's a hell of a way to start the next 4 years.
I was prepared for shock and awe. This is just shock and awful, as far as I'm concerned. If David is 100% right, this could be interpreted by some people as a green light for right-wing political violence. That's not his intention, but it can be interpreted that way. Because why do you put people in jail? 3 reasons. You want to incapacitate dangerous people, you want to punish people for doing bad stuff, and you want to deter people from doing the same thing again. It looks like the federal government is no longer in the deterrence business when it comes to right-wing political violence. That is scary to me, and I am a criminal justice fanatic. I love people coming out of prison. But usually, when somebody comes out of prison, It's not right after they beat up a cop. Maybe they did something else. And there's some idea that they've confessed, they've apologized, they've rehabilitated themselves, they've done some action, and then we say, now you get a second chance. This is a very dangerous thing that happened tonight, among many others. This is not shock and awe, it's shock and awful.
These people were locked away for 4 years without a frickin' trial. Every single person who got pardoned was non-violent. These people are sick in the head for thinking that they have not suffered enough.
Let me ask you about what you think of these pardons and commutations of the January 6th.
Look, it attacks the very foundation of our democracy because it tries to whitewash what was clearly an insurrection. People died from that. Property was destroyed. People were injured. Police officers trying to defend the democratic process died. And the idea that now Donald Trump and his Republican friends are just coming in and trying to whitewash the whole thing and pretend not only did it never happen, it was nothing but a picnic. And that's just not going to work.
He seems to have a lot of new friends, too, who appeared today. I'm wondering what you made of what you think the message President Trump was trying to send by having, Tim Cook, Jeff Bezos, obviously Elon Musk, all the others, Zuckerberg, front and center in the rotunda, right next to, across the aisle from former presidents, and what message it actually sends to you.
So I think there was a double message. I think one message is pay to play. You want to be Donald Trump's friend? Write a check, buy some Bitcoin, whatever. But I think the second message is really who this government is going to work for. Front and center right there. It's going to work for the billionaires. Oh yeah, Donald Trump made a lot of promises while he was running, and he said he was really going to help out American families. And American families have a lot to complain about on how expensive life has become, on how challenging it has become. But he gave that whole speech today. And boy, he wanted to talk about renaming the Gulf of Mexico. He wanted to talk about taking back the Panama Canal. But where was the discussion of housing prices? Where did he really talk about what he wants to do on healthcare? Where was even something about the junk fees that people have to live with and the way they're fleeced by giant financial companies? None of that. So flood the zone with everything else, but the very heart of what the American voter told us they wanted, and that is someone who would fight for them and fight for their economic security, just wasn't.
Is this woman joking? All that Donald Trump does is talk for the common man and woman. But not only that, he walks the walk. Look at 2016 to 2020. If you want to talk about the housing prices, Elizabeth Warren, why don't you look at the price of a house during that time? And then look at it from 2021 to 2025, current day, under Joe Biden. Then come to your own conclusions on whether or not the presidency is better held by a Democrat or Donald Trump. It's clear as day. Almost every single metric showed that the lower and middle class was far better off under a Donald Trump presidency than Joe Biden.
There was a lot of questions about, okay, he's going to hand over his businesses to his sons, whatever.
Yep.
Now he released a meme coin the day before, yesterday. His wife, the first lady, released one, I guess, this morning, today. Obviously, there's questions about the crypto industry, which the government will have a role in deciding the regulation of it. Is this a complete conflict of interest?
Of course it is. But look, we used to talk about transparency, how we wanted transparency in government on the notion that if it was out in public, if there was sunshine on it, then our elected officials would behave appropriately, government would behave appropriately. This is transparent corruption. It's just right out there for everybody to see. You want to influence Donald Trump, help make him richer. You want to influence Melania Trump to influence Donald Trump, make her richer. You no longer have to sign up at the Trump Hotel. You just actually come in and make a purchase right online. That is a corruption that runs so deep and runs to the heart of not just Donald Trump, but the entire administration. That, combined with all those billionaires lined up in the front row, just tells you this is an administration determined to make life better for billionaires And you know who's going to pay for that?
Donald Trump refused his presidential salary both times that he was president, and his net worth dropped billions of dollars while he was president from 2016 to 2020. So if you want to talk about a president for the people, this man is sacrificing billions of dollars on his behalf to better our lives. I will admit the Trump coin is a bit sketchy so far because I don't really know much about it. I know a lot about the Bitcoin and the crypto industry as a whole, but the Trump coin, I don't know where he's going with this, but he's a smart guy. So I trust what he's doing, even though I might not know where he's going with it. I trust that he's doing the right thing for the American people because that's all he's been doing ever since he went down that escalator in 2015. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. What do you think about the Trump coin, and what do you think about Elizabeth Warren? Is her time up in Washington? Let me know. I'd love to know your opinions. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash out like, comment, subscribe, and wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.